Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful like Akim pushing us the truth. And shalom to the household of faith, the true believers on the testimony of the gospel, the true gospel of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. The elect, the hopeful elect, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American are the Israelites, God's chosen people in the Bible. All right. If your father's line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, no matter what you look like, Israel's been scattered. Your true heritage is, and you are a Israelite. All right. So without further ado, I'll bring out a few scriptures and a couple articles on some recent events. This happened about a week ago, and just going to read the headline: a Venezuelan man in Detroit deported to El Salvador after taking wrong turn into Canada, reports. And pretty much there's a bridge in Detroit that goes into goes across the border of Canada. All right. And this man was reported he's a delivery driver, and he, crossed. I'll read it right here. Detroit, a 32-year-old Venezuelan man reportedly took a wrong turn on Ambassador Bridge crossing into Canada while delivering food back in January. So this incident was actually in January, and has since been detained and deported to El Salvador. So, as the, apostles and other brothers been bringing out, man, hey, this devil has his eye on Jacob. Definitely on the 12 tribes of Israel, but currently, he got the northern kingdom in the crosshairs. All right, in his scope, as it says in the book of Jeremiah 50 and 33 that Judah and Israel were oppressed together. All right, and it's gonna take this this harsh chastisement and beat down of the sword for you to truly understand that your heritage and who your family truly is. All right. This is how those two sticks are going to join. And then, the two sticks being the northern and southern kingdom. All right. But the northern kingdom will, suffer the Latin tribes, along as well as the Native American, the so-called Native American, the Gadites, and Seminole Indians, Reubenites. We all suffered in this land, all right, and will continue to suffer in this land. But it's going to come to a point where the oppression that Esau, the so-called white man, puts down on the northern kingdom, is going to cause them to, realize that, hey, the only other people, that really got our backs, are our family, and that's the Southern Kingdom, the so-called black Haitians, the so-called black man, but Judah, the so-called Negro, the Haitians, and the so-called West Indians. Okay, and reportedly people was just going missing. So for a time, I believe in this article, it says that they didn't know who they were or where they were, where this guy went. And it says that it's actually, being brought up because it's right here. It says immigration rights experts like Suave, say they are concerned about this case and others where people are being deported without due process. Okay, so the laws is going out the window. Let's grab a scripture on that, Slakia. Let's grab a scripture on that real quick because but I'm gonna just go through spirit now. It says, "Woe!" Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they prescribe, to turn away aside the needy from judgment." All right, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And I believe they try to link this man to a gang. All right, so Esau always gonna try to throw a loophole or a reason behind why they didn't give him due process. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges, and those who issue unfair laws," and that's Esau, Edom. Their justice system is unfair. It favors them. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy people among my people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. And hey, what was ICE doing? Okay, go back a couple years ago, and what they continue to do. Hey, they was taking them kids. All right, they was taking them kids away and separating the family, man. And that's a part of the curses. See, that's why the Lord said that He will set that as a mark upon you, or a sign, a wonder. Let's get that. Not 32. Let's get that. And so who the Israelites are, the poor. All right, in that scripture, verse 48 in Deuteronomy 28 and 48 says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, 46, and they talking about the curses, shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Okay, NLT, these horrors. That's what the curses are. They're really horrific things that cling unto Jacob right now. Will serve as a sign and a warning among you and your descendants forever. Ultimately, we know that these curses are going to be lifted and put on our enemies. But as for right now, we have to suffer, as chastisement from the Lord. Okay, but there will be a sign and a warning among you and your descendants forever. Why? So you go back and return unto the Lord. Because you don't want to continue living like this unjust ruler, who's bringing these draconian measures. And let's get that real quick before we move on or go back to the article. Revelation 12 and 12, and this is end time prophecies, man. Therefore, rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Why are the heavens rejoicing, the angels rejoicing? Because we know it's about time. This devil's time is up. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. The devil being the adversary. Who is our adversary? Esau, Edom. Okay, the wicked. Because he knoweth he has a short time, so his time is coming up, so he's bringing them laws, those unjust laws, and doing things, true to his true nature, because there is no uprightness in him. Psalms 37 and 32, and it says that he has what? He has, it's like I'm trying to remember how the scripture goes. Let's get it. I gotta I think it's perpetual hatred. That's what I was thinking. that perpetual hatred for Jake. There we go. I was trying to think of the word. Call all y'all by Shimmy Shah. I couldn't remember how that scripture went. Oh, damn. Let me see. This wasn't the one I was looking for, but let's see. Cross-reference. Yep, Amos, Genesis 27. Um, 41 and 42. It says Genesis 27:41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and then I will slay my brother Jacob. And these words heard of Esau. Now, that shows that, Esau truly hates his brother. Okay? And I believe the scripture I was thinking of was Amos 1 and 11. But I thought it said it in Genesis too. I could be wrong. I'm just going to grab this real quick. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, Esau is Edom. Okay? And for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Okay? Kept that wrath from the days speaking of here. Let's just go to Genesis 27. It's bugging me now. But perpetual meaning like, everlasting, Not going away. I'm not going to get too caught up into it. No. If the Spirit, has it on me, it might be in the next chapter, but if the Spirit has it on me, I'll just go back and find it and do another lesson on it. It might have been Ezekiel that I was actually quoting. I think it was. Yep. Nope. I just read that. All right. Slakia. Now I gotta go here in Psalms 37 and verse 32. And it reads, the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. All right. The wicked wait in ambush for the godly. The godly is Israel, looking for an excuse to kill them. Looking for an excuse to put you in jail. Looking for an excuse. What does it say back in Revelation 12? 1 verse up. That this devil is known as the accuser. Let's go back. Revelation 12 and 11. And 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power, Yahweh, and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. The accuser of our brethren is this devil, man. Always pointing the finger. See, look what he did. He's going off. Give me the birthright, which accuse them before our power day and night. All right. And they're the ones, destroying Jake, first-handed. All right. Casting spells, serving us abominations, poisoning us, all right, polluting our minds, and with Western philosophy and so much more. All right, putting freaking sound frequencies out, man. Their sword is so vast. They have covered all surfaces and found you out. All right, so let's go back into this, because when I was looking for this, this was an updated article I first found this one from April 24th. Hundreds, okay, so that one man was one of hundreds detained at Detroit-Windsor border after wrong turn toward Ambassador Bridge. What did it say in Isaiah 10? Now keep this. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and right grievousness, which they prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." Okay. Ultimately, the fatherless is speaking of the children of Israel. Okay. But as I said, the widows, in this article, I'm not going to read I'll read this part and one other part. There have been 213 people, including families, have been detained at the Detroit-Windsor border between January and March, according to the lawmaker and two immigrant right groups. Most people detained made the wrong turn, Slakia, toward the Ambassador Bridge, leading to their detention at the border. Okay. And, they're breaking up families like this. It says, among those held at the border was a woman named Sarai, who, let's actually look at this name. Sarah is a biblical matriarch prophet. I don't believe she was a prophet. The wife of Isaac. All right. So, that's some other BS Wikipedia got going on there. But where we go? Who took a wrong turn while driving to Costco and ended up at the Ambassador Bridge? And actually, let's go. Because I want to know what Sarai meant before that name was changed. Abraham, wife of Abraham. Slaki, I said that wrong. And Yahweh said unto Abraham, as for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And Shara, I believe it's like princess. I'm gonna get it right now. It's just bugging me, so something I should know. Princess, yep. Yeah, because Shar, prince, ruler. That's why when you go into I gotta brush up on that too before I speak on it. So, um, I know Russia. Or what I was thinking was Russia is a combination of two words. I know the Shar is goes to first prince. Is it Ra'ash? Slakia. All right, back on topic. It says, and so princess, and I want to look at what original name of Sarah. Okay, now let's go to Sarah. Oh my gosh. It's coming up as the same. It's a Shara. It says a noble woman. Shara. Okay, so just the the spiritual connection. That's a name of a woman in Israel, a prominent woman in Israel, who birthed Isaac. Yahweh Shai in the past life. So it says, among those held at the border was a woman named Sarai, who took a wrong turn, while driving to Costco. So there's a Costco right by this bridge. She was held in detention for days with her 2 kids. Only after her kids became sick, and she arranged for a friend to pick them up, she released a day later, well under ICE supervision. So she barely got was able to get out. Okay, so it says what we don't know, and why I said that was brought her up because it said, like, it didn't speak about, the man in her life. Be a widow, she could be a harlot. You don't know. She had kids. Where was her man at? That's why I said a man would be, precious, more valuable than gold in these times. Where's her covering? If she wasn't driving by herself, women have a hard time driving. It's just facts. A lot of them don't have no GPS or sense of direction without Google Maps. Okay. And so if that app, glitches or they gonna easily make the wrong turn. They should just try and go to Costco. The numbers provided by so it says what we don't know. I want to read this. The numbers provided by Tlaib by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol include data from January to March. It is unclear how many more people have been detained at the border. It's also not clear what is supposed to happen next for the people after they have been taken away by CPB. Laib said that while the agency acknowledges the space where they house the people detained at the border is no long-term detentions, is not for long-term detentions. They told Congresswomen that they were waiting for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to come and retrieve the detainees. So yeah. Oh, it says advocates also, jumping right here, said the individuals detained are not listed in the locator system run by ICE and are denied legal counsel or contact with their families. So they take the right away from their people. All right, and it mentions Ricardo, which was that delivery driver. So they just go missing, man. Disappear. How many people have disappeared? Okay. It's going to be the book of Psalms 10 and verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. So, man, hey, these devils is they on the prowl, man. They trying to catch up Jake any way they can. They suckered them in to, open the floodgates to have them all the immigrants pour in, which it wasn't just, the Venezuelans coming over here. How many of the so-called Chinese, the Moabites and Elam and sleeper cells did they let cross those borders? Okay, but they only worried about Jake. It says he croucheth and humble himself that the poor may fall by strong ones, and that's what he does. He's, oh, come over here, everything's gonna be okay, and then boom. Now you iced out. Now you locked up. Your life on froze, on freeze. Okay, and you're not in the system. That's the biggest part of that. You just go missing. So y'all gonna figure out, hey, never trust thy enemy. I was gonna grab that, but for the sake of time, I'm just gonna grab this right here. And you see everything that's happening to these men and women. All right, these immigrants. All right. So what happens when it comes into the times of Jacob's trouble and they really hunting, the elect? How much more than a Abrego Garcia case when it's a man of the elect that they looking out after, which we don't have no fear. Lord willing, we be those men, whatever we got to suffer in our lot. But think about the lengths that they go in and the unrighteous things that they're doing now. But when it comes to, because as it says in back in Revelations, that when the time cuts shorter, they're going to get more drastic. They're going to get, more wicked. This is going to be second address, Slakia, 16. in verse 71. Actually, in verse 70, it says, "For there shall be in every city, every place, and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Right? In those times, man. We're already seeing them pick and pull, and pass judgment and detain the northern tribes. But, hey, Trump said he wanted to deport criminals. All right, what they do with Ricardo, they deemed him as a gang member. That makes him a criminal. All right, they put that on him. I don't know if he is or not. But they can label you as anything. What are they trying to label? Men teaching the truth. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Another thing that popped in my mind is that a man shall desire to go into the city and not be able to. All right? Cross that border, you can't come back. If you look like a certain person, or if they think you're somebody, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the name of the Lord. Okay? See, and only the elect's going to come out of that. Let's continue reading. "For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." So they're going to be coming after you, man. "Then shall they be known who are my chosen." Why? Because they're going to have the protection of the Lord. The Lord's going to use or raise a standard and use, that divine intervention, that true protection, man. Cause miraculous things to happen. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire. But you still going to go through this. You still going to go through hell. Hear, O ye, my beloved, and the beloved is the elect. Saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So the Lord, giving you that assurance that he got you if you're of the elect, man. So Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the teachers, of this truth, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Kwame Yasharala Wa Paul.